Afternoon or evening, ladies and gents, and here we have another game of 0AD, and I'm finally back with some more YouTube content after not uploading for a while. Life got in the way, so to say, and here we have Vinme playing against me here in the north. Vinme immediately starts out with some cavalry. And I'm starting out with some women, and this is A26, and therefore I try to do a different build order, namely skipping a farmstead, directly building a house, and also a storehouse, and I have on each berry bush one woman selected, and the reason why I do so is because berry bushes regenerate food. For example, if we look at this berry bush, it will soon have 185 food, and it will slowly get to 186. Here you see, and because I spread my women out over these berry bushes, there will be as much berry bushes which don't have full food count, and all of them are now regenerating some food. And because I'm not gathering very quickly from them, they will also they will expire slower, and thus they will have more time to regenerate food. So that's one of the reasons why I don't make any additional investments to collect my berries faster, and instead I use any additional investments that I could do in building a farmstead into doing the wood gathering upgrade. And Vinme is already rushing me with 8 cavalry units. I have 4 cavalry units and 4 infantry units, and Vinme has 18 populations, 5 of them are cavalry, so a few others, but I've already lost all my cavalry units, and I've built a farmstead which doesn't help me right now, and I'm losing more units because I decided to retreat my spearmen. My spearmen weren't supposed to do anything, and even more cavalry units are coming. And I currently see that I'm outgunned, so I try to run away as soon as possible. And I'm losing more and more units, and I'm trying to go to the safety of my CC. And the Britons start with a dog, which I didn't use right now earlier, so that's a bit of a waste. And I realized these are way more cavalry units than I would have expected to be reasonable. And I realized what Vinme is doing with his population, and that he has mainly made cavalry units. And here is another cavalry unit. So it's also important for me to push Vinme away from this farmstead, because this farmstead will be important for my collection of resources, especially food. And Vinme has some cavalry running around here, and this cavalry unit survives with only 10 HP left. And Vinme decides to build a farmstead close to his berries, which have some of them are already gone, so that could be a questionable move. And I was thinking that I've lost 11 units and only killed 6, so normally that would mean that the game would be over, except for the fact that I'm Britons, and Britons build their buildings faster, which is an advantage that I have over the Persians, and I would probably so I'm moving with my cavalry forward because I can't afford my cavalry units to be idle. And currently I'm having more cavalry units than Vinme has, and I haven't explored anything. Sometimes it can be wise to explore with just one cavalry unit, so you don't use 8 of them to be explore and have 8 of them being used thus. But I knew how Vinme started this game because I saw so many cavalry units, and indeed Vinme only has 4 infantry right now, and I'm looking for where I can find Vinme and where his units are. And okay, here I find some of his units, and I decide to run away. I see that this cavalry unit is being chased, and what I try to do is lure his cavalry units to this position and then come behind with my cavalry units, but he backed away early enough, and there we fight a little, and Vinme sends some extra cavalry units, and in the but in the meantime I have made some slingers, and I've only been able to make these infantry units because they are slingers and they cost stone, and we start with some extra stone as in the game, and these slingers are this what gives me the advantage because I was able to afford some infantry with the starting stone. And this is a battle which I seem to have won, at least in terms of momentum, because the KD is not as worse as it was earlier, and the spearman unit will it won't kill any further units, so that's 1 unit down. And Vinme isn't collecting any wood, so that isn't collecting wood here right now. And unlike me, he doesn't have the wood cutting upgrade, which I did very early, and I decide to retreat for now because I know my cavalry units are low HP, and archers might just use their long range to snipe one of them, and my slingers weren't doing that much use. We weren't doing that much anyway. So I have the 3 cavalry units that I have currently are healing in my CC. Vinme also has 1 cavalry unit somewhere, and I can't see where he really has it. And Vinme rushed me early on in the game, and that was partially effective because I took the wood line on the front, and if I took the wood line a little bit more at the back, it would have given me a few extra seconds to react, and well, that could have been useful. And also the extra investment in the farmstead early on was some wood which I spent on a building that couldn't help me to defend against Vinme early rush, but the slingers allowed me to pay back, to get back in the game and to even up the kill death ratio a little more. And here I spot Vinme's cavalry unit, and I start to fight against it, and currently I am with 3 cavalry units against 1, so I'm chasing that unit, and I've already done the speed upgrade for the cavalry, so that gives me some better chances to hit and run and to find favorable engagements and escape some bad engagements. And as Britons, I use the dogs which they can produce, and dogs are excellent against both archers and spearmen. And one spearman goes down, and okay, so Vinme is currently not collecting any wood, which is some efficiency in his economy, which might risk out. And no, Vinme is short on wood, so he has trouble making infantry to defend against my cavalry units. And I decide to collect these deer, because if I collect these deer, Vinme won't be able to do so in the future, so that way I take away some food which would normally go to Vinme. And I've seen some infantry here, so I will probably decide to rush the field, knowing that. And this cavalry unit was erased, and currently I know I have some good cavalry numbers, and I know also where he's running to. I haven't spotted this extra pocket of units and these buildings. These cavalry units have taken some arrows, but none of them died, which is the most important thing. And there I go again, and I lose one. And I think none of Vinme's units died, so that's a little bit of a waste. And currently Vinme has pulled ahead, but he hasn't pulled ahead in units that can fight on the battlefield, so that's a vulnerability. However, some of my cavalry units aren't currently fit to fight because they are low HP, and so I will probably need to garrison them in my CC. I have already one cavalry unit garrisoned in the CC, and these cavalry units will probably collect some food, and I do have the stable to make the stable really a worthwhile investment. I also need to keep producing units there, because if you have invested in a building which you aren't using, that's a waste of investment. And yeah, and I'm pulling infantry forward, mainly partially because I know that in the previous game, which we played, where Vinme played also as Persians, he decided to go for cavalry in archers, and he was efficient with them. And currently, and he is already advanced to phase 2, and in phase, which means that he invested some resources in going to phase 2, which could have been 10 infantry units. And currently, I'm chasing him towards his CC, and that means that he isn't collecting any wood. And Vinme has reached phase 2, and yeah, he's trying to be annoying, or he tries to use his archers and hop inside and outside the barracks, shoot a little, and then jump back into barracks once my units get dangerously close, and I accept that Vinme will continuously use that trick. And I haven't really grouped my units good, so my dogs are still with my infantry force, and I don't want my infantry force to stay running all the time after Vinme's units. And okay, so I'm just using my infantry force to capture houses and to accept just that I will be hit a little by Vinme's forces. I'm using now my infantry force to capture these barracks, which are currently ungarrisoned, and I'm not trying to continuously run after Vinme's units, because I know whenever I try to chase him, he will run away, and that will be just wasted time for me. And he will try to lure me to the CC, take some hits, and if I don't achieve anything, and if I don't capture stuff, I won't achieve a lot by just running after his units. And Vinme resigns after he asked me about the population, and yeah, and I said I was 80 units and I needed a house, and I finally got this house. So that was a little bit of a joke we were making in the game. And well, Vinme advanced to phase 2 early, invested in stables which he didn't use, and that's one of the things which 0 AD gives, it gives a vulnerability to the player investing in phase 2, because a player which does not invest in phase 2 can invest these units into an attacking force and capture those houses and do other things. And if we take, for example, a look on houses which Vinme had in the end, he had control of 1, 2, 3. Wait, this is not a house, it's a farmstead. 1, 2, 3, 4 houses, which gives him with the CC 60 population space, which is probably too little to produce units efficiently. So that was a nice little quick game with some rushes. It shows that the Britons do have some advantages as they start with slingers, and it also shows that going too early to phase 2 can be punished, and probably a little bit more than it should for the game, in my opinion. Well, I hope the game was fun to watch, and well, I will see you in another video, and this will be it for now, and I will pass to the statistics, and that will be it.